I don't even know if I was at a camera because I do not have, thanks to Michael, I don't know what's going on. That's okay. You know what I want to do? Like, this is just a very unconnected thought to what I just said, which is the way it sometimes works or doesn't work. But I have what's called an etymological dictionary because I'm into words. I like language. It's part of my hobby, one of my hobbies. And I have this word rascal in this dictionary. I'll tell you what it says. It says a knave, a villain. French and Latin, Middle English, rascal. The common herd, it was a term of chase. Certain animals not worth hunting were so called. That's interesting. The hart, till he was 6 years old, was accounted a rascal. Anglo-Saxon or French, rascal, a rabble, also rascal, whence, modified, and so forth and so forth. Just briefly, there's nothing really good to say about this word. However, tonight, my two guests are totally opposite of what this says. I'm talking in regard to their personal character. I have the great privilege of having on the show tonight David and Eddie Brigati, of both the Starliners and the Rascals. So when we come back, we're going to have a little chat with them. It'll be very interesting. So please don't go away. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with Eddie and Dave.
TCI Education Project, a new architecture for learning that's taking education into tomorrow.
Well, welcome, gentlemen, to the show. It's a pleasure to have you. It's a thrill. Truly, it really is, you know. I guess we'll start from the beginning. There's a lot to say. I'm sure you got pictures with you, and people can see in the background we have all these albums that you brought. Joey D and the Starliners. You started. David was singing with the group. Did you go with David when he was touring with the band, or what was your involvement too, Eddie?
It actually started. Dave was in a group called the High Fives.
The High Fives.
A cappella group in high school, and if I could find a new part, they let me stay in the room. If I doubled their part, I had to leave.
Is that so?
Well, actually, he was a welcomed voice. He had a great high tenor voice, and he just fit right in, and we substituted parts, just as we did later on with the Rascals.
So you, basically, the first field worker was David. And he sort of honed a certain path. But when the Rascals came around, that would be 65, right?
1960. February 15th was our first
major release.
Engagement in New Jersey, Choo Choo Club, Garfield, New Jersey.
My goodness.
We rehearsed one night. Dino was working in Newburgh, and Felix and I worked together with Gene. He was working in Joey D's Starlighter. And we rehearsed 25 songs one night, and then the rest was history.
Yes.
I recorded, my first recording was their last album, What Kind of Love Is This?
Right, an old single.
Oh, okay.
Eddie was maybe 15 at the time.
15 years old.
Which was kind of unprecedented.
So your voice hadn't even changed yet. I mean, really, you were still singing very adolescently, right? Mm-hmm. Which goes along with the music. So it's sort of, really, it's wonderful how it just kind of dovetailed. Yes. It was you're very fortunate it worked out like that. When the Rascals began to put out hit songs, one right after the other, when did David become, or was he always a part of what was going on, whether it be the planning or the production of the songs? Because I've seen your name on the albums, you're on the credits, sort of like the mystery man.
We didn't didn't perform with us, but he was on most of the recordings, starting where
Oh no,
before.
Only Too Long was the first.
Only Too Long.
Yeah, that I remember.
One of the original Birds too.
Well, that came later on. It was grooving
Yeah,
on a
grooving.
Sunday afternoon, right?
Yeah, grooving. I just noticed before we went on air, you were doing the bird sounds.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that there was one of those little bird whistles.
No, it was.
Show him, Dave.
Sort of an idle, lost youth, you know? Two youths, as they say in a Joe
Well, you have to
Pesci
be
movie.
careful when you do bird sounds in the speakers because you could blow a tweeter.
Oh,
Right.
This guy's a real woofer.
Oh gosh! You know, you gave me this list of the credentials, the shows. I'm going to read them. If you'll bear with the list here, it's just no, not bear. I guess David is going to be showing some of the photographs.
Yes.
These are your personal photographs, right?
Our personal collection of memorabilia. Some are very rare and one of a kind, and others have been published before, and we intend to publish more as well.
The archives. I'd like to mention also, if there's anyone that was out and performing, at our performances, if you have any 8mm or anything like that, we'd be interested in seeing it for the archives. Because that's perpetual, that goes on forever.
Yes.
There's always new things that we've never seen before.
That's a wonderful idea.
There was
It's
Harry
impossible.
Belafonte and Buddy Hackett.
my.
Funny fellow. And of course,
Ed Sullivan.
Ed Sullivan.
Hello, Edward.
My boys. Rascals had performed there, and how many times?
Four
times?
4 major times, and it was a great uplift to the career, not to mention personally. It was like, wow, you know, how dare
8 o'clock live.
fellas from Jersey
It's like this.
on the Ed Sullivan Show, unheard of, you know. And
all the big stars.
oh, that's another segment.
So who's that now? Yeah.
This is
looks
Elvis
familiar.
Kosnowski from Jersey. We used to look young, you know.
Crescendo.
I
That was
tell you,
crescendo.
This
you
was
look
out in
great now,
Hollywood.
though, David. Really, you do.
Well, thank you. This was a if I can mention, a
Starlight.
white version of Joey D and the Starlighters. Our country had been suffering from some type of paranoia, so there was a white version, and incidentally, there was a mixed version
On the hits.
on the hits.
Oh, is that so?
Right.
Yeah.
Surely, because where are we?
That's a nice shot there.
Yes, with this particular shot,
Oh,
if
yeah.
I may. This was from our first movie, Hey Let's Twist, with Teddy Randazzo and Joanne Campbell.
So you were at the film too?
Oh, yes.
Oh, how
yes, we
wonderful.
made a few movies, and
Yes.
amongst all the other TV things and all. Also, probably from Hey Let's Twist. And it was like a dream, you know?
Paramount release, it says, yeah.
Yes,
Look
and there
at
was one
that.
Columbia release called 2 Tickets to Paris, which I
Oh,
think we have
yes,
an
you have it
album.
up there too.
Yes,
It's in the
there's an
back.
album shot from it.
Yes.
And then
Oh,
I had to sneak this in because this was a very famous underground publication of the tongue.
Tongue
That's
out
why they
of
were called.
cheek,
They
so
were
to
called
speak.
tongue out of
rascals.
cheek.
They were called rascals for different reasons, you know. But it was all in fun, and it not only paid off, but it was a great dream, you know.
Was that picture ever circulated? Was it ever used as a publicity
Probably in
shot?
maybe a
Semi.
magazine article or something like that, but never.
Really? Well, everybody's sticking their tongue out like that, huh?
Oh, is that what it was? I thought it was another one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, if there was a doctor in the audience, it would have been convenient to
Well-
right? Stick your tongue out.
That's why we made it to call Bruno, because he realizes these double and triple entendres, you know.
Yes, I try to. Language is my playground.
Right.
But Ed Sullivan, Dick Clark, Tom Jones, Bing Crosby,
Yes.
Sammy Davis, Alan King, Melba Moore, The Clay Cole Show, Hullabaloo,
Right.
Shindig, Cousin Brucey's TV show, Brooklyn Fox Theater, Murray the K.
Right.
We closed the old garden. Rascals either opened them or closed them.
Is that so?
Yeah.
You're talking about the old Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, I think Judy Garland opened first the other one, and we were closing the old one.
Yeah.
A lot of milestones involved.
Well, let me ask you, these songs, I believe, when we came into the segment, they were playing Ain't Gonna Eat Out My Heart Anymore.
Grammatically incorrect. But, got to start somewhere.
Grammatically incorrect. You fellas are great songwriters. You write, the musical's right to the heart, lyrically and melodically.
Well, Pam Sawyer and Laurie Burton wrote that one. They also wrote Baby Let's Wait, but that was our first release. I think it did top 50, and we broke ground with that. And then naturally, Good Lovin' came next. The Olympics did that. Resnick and Rice wrote it, and that was our first million seller, Good Lovin'.
Good Lovin', yes, wow.
So that's still
big.
It still catches me in the shop right once in a while.
Oh. I think even the Grateful Dead even recorded that.
Oh yeah,
the Grateful Dead, you know. But these are just incredible. Groovin'. There's a song that is still
Perpetual Summer.
No matter where. I heard you singing this at the benefit for the veterans at Smith Point Beach.
That was great, wasn't
and
it?
I tell you, it was just, you guys were great.
Yeah,
I was just...
That was a beautiful day. Our
perfect.
families were there. It culminated for all the times we had taken off, and it was just a great cause, but the sun was perfect. They constructed a stage on the beach, and it was beautiful.
It was perfect. I felt like a child. I could not control myself. My mouth was open. I know it's not polite.
Wow.
But you were just really so awesome.
The jokes were ripping.
Yes, yeah.
It was a natural thing. There was no effort, kind of. I mean,
it was the rascal spirit. We got the rascal spirit.
It was really incredible. It was, to me, and I'm sure many of the people there, and I'm sure most of the folks that have even seen you in recent years too, it's just like a dream come true. You know, it fills in my past and makes my present better. It really was, like you said, it was a perfect Sunday afternoon to be grooving on. It really was.
The thrill was watching the audience mouth all of the lyrics. Then the songs performed themselves, and there was no effort, as I said before.
They're fun.
The next song that's on this list, I tell you, I grew up in an Italian home.
No.
Oh, yes.
Carlo Bruno.
Carlo Bruno.
That translates to Charlie Brown.
Yes, it does. That's right. You know, that explains why I've been working for Peanuts for so long.
Oh!
This is without a rehearsal.
This is without rehearsal. Can you imagine?
Why I oughta.
This next song, How Can I Be Sure?
Oh.
It's, you know, when I opened up with the Bob Lind number, Elusive Butterfly, the reason really why I connected that is because this song just takes you away. You're just above the clouds.
I've been taken away quite a few times.
You wrote the lyrics to this song, right?
Dave and I.
Both of you together.
And Felix.
The three of you together.
Yeah.
I tell you something. You sang it better than the record.
Wow.
It was
That's a compliment.
better.
The record,
Truthfully.
I think the record, we were learning it as it was being recorded. And we were still finishing to write it as we were being recorded. And Gloria Estefan just did a beautiful version of it.
Yes.
Thank you, Gloria. Wherever I am.
She's a great talent. Wherever you are.
She chose it as one of her favorites.
All-time favorites.
Doesn't surprise me, really.
Just very fortunate for things like that, you know. But they had a great spirit. You know, once these songs are born, they kind of live by themselves, and maybe somewhere, where whatever life is all about, they might have existed before. I mean, I don't want to get Charlie. Little cosmic. We had some hits in the 60s.
Excuse me, that's called plagiarism.
No, I mean, that's, it seems that once they're out of your hands and they get performed, it's like coming out of the air, you know.
It's a phenomenon.
It
Really.
is.
I understand what you're saying.
Very fortunate.
It's a Beautiful Morning.
Another
Goodness,
one.
another tune. Of course, you know, this list is really a lot shorter than it would be if I wrote them out. Because
Okay.
every song has to me, it associates me with a place or a person, or both.
They're all our children too, and they have all different reasons, for being alive. And basically, we were newscasters. You're telling the truth from your version. And if you remember the '60s, it was a horrendous time politically, and a lot of forces were coming out, and basically we were in denial. And, what if it was a beautiful morning? What if we could be grooving and
Just
the
go
positive
outside
side
and
of it.
smile. That's Eddie. That's Eddie personified.
Mindless,
Well, I tell you, from my perspective as a listener, it makes it possible to me. While the
Exactly.
song is playing,
Yes.
it becomes a beautiful morning to me.
Right.
I know that might sound corny or square.
No, isn't
but
that what
that's
music
it
is
creates.
about? Isn't that what music is about? Presenting a situation that can relieve you from where you are. Maybe you call it escapism or denial or whatever. But our cousin Johnny Farina's Sleepwalk, to me, I just get mesmerized, like whenever you hear it. And that's imprinted in us. Whenever you hear it, there's just those fuzzy feelings come up, and you remember where you were at the time, more so than anything else. If somebody read me a literary statement or something like that, it wouldn't be as powerful to me as if you just played that song. And it goes right back to Mom and Dad and Grandma and Grandpa. An interesting thing is 1911, a gentleman by the name of Dawes, who was vice president of the United States.
There you go.
Now I forgot the name of the song, but it was a phenomenal thing happens, that songs can be taken from generation to generation. You know the song I'm thinking about, Dave?
Never heard of him.
Yeah, I'll think about it. But when I tell you this song, Tommy Edwards, All in the Game.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Now,
That's a beautiful note.
Oh man, and he
bless
was vice president. Yes, come in.
No, that was Tommy Edwards.
You're the
Tommy
way to get
Edwards,
a
All in the Game. And when you tell people about that, 1911, and he wrote it, and again, vice president of the United States. That's the phenomenon of it. That's the magic. And I tried a lot of other things, but music is the only thing I was designed to excel in.
I'm glad you went that.
I'm not going to be. I'm not going to fly any spaceships or anything. Brain surgery in the next couple.
You
of
have an
weeks.
imaginary cigar.
I was wondering
No
about it.
smoking, I'm sorry.
It's the humor and the seriousness of taking.
Every time he talks about my imaginary cigar.
Oh, there you go.
very much.
Dollars.
No, to take away from the very unpleasant modern news. I guess bad news happened at all times, but to like a change of pace, sort of like the Johnny Carson show. Let's be silly tonight, folks, so you can sleep, because the news can saturate you.
Oh, sure.
And during the '60s, I think we were oversaturated.
I agree. I know as a child growing up, I was fearful.
Sure.
Uncertain of the future.
Yes.
The song "Lonely Too Long." That was another smash hit. You wrote lyrics for that too, right?
Yeah.
What I remember most about that, if any song, when I was called to do whatever part I did in it, it loaned itself to the Motown vibe and sound. Excuse me. And that's what I got from it. And consequently, I was asked to project that flavor, and with the call and response, the lead singer sings, "I've been lonely too long." And then we repeated, and then splayed out into harmonies and things like that, which we love.
Also, each different person has a different perspective. If you ask the four Rascals what the song meant or how it came about, basically Felix and I were the writers. Felix has his version of what inspired him to write, and I have my version of what inspired me to write. And they're from different things, and when you hear it, you're going to think of something else. And when
Yes,
That's true. Yeah.
got a 2-minute signal now. When you hear, every person has a different perspective. For example, Groovin' was banned in Boston. They said it was sexual.
Yes.
I didn't write it that
my
way.
goodness.
So we banned Boston for about 8 months.
Well, it was an old
Oh, my
jazz
goodness.
term and some slang. The word groovin' in the vernacular meant something else.
Okay.
It meant washing cars on a Wednesday. I don't know.
I don't know.
Make up
I know
whatever
what
you
you're
like.
saying.
That's just Eddie's point.
Wow.
That it's
But each person has a different interpretation depending on where you were and who you were with and your point of view.
Well, somebody once said, the quote, "For those who have a defiled mind, everything appears as being defiled.
That's why I think
Amen.
like that.
Right? Isn't that true?
Here's your $2.
Oh, that
man.
reminds me. Hey, you know, you guys.
I just noticed that.
How do you like
put
my
out your
Rascals
button?
$5, $5,
$5.
$5.
Well, actually, I forced you to wear it, but I didn't have to break your arm. I know.
No, I'm happy to wear this. I really am.
But he will break your arm.
Either way.
We have lots of memorabilia left, and that happened to
Fall out of the
fall
back.
into my hand as I was looking for some pictures, and it's a great
It's wonderful.
that logo alone brings back that time to me. Bang, you know.
Maybe I should sit like this, so because I put it on my.
It's your
suspender.
show. You can stand
Okay,
on
no,
your
no.
head. Then I'll
I
stand
don't-
on my head. We'll all follow suit.
That's okay. 2 songs here before we close on the segment. A Girl Like You
Like
and
You.
People Gotta Be Free. My goodness. Now, where do we begin with that?
Which one? A Girl Like You?
Girl Like You, they're both just killer songs.
Great
But-
arrangements to that.
Yeah,
those
they were.
songs.
Yes, that's the point.
Yes.
Yes, the studio.
It was a bigger band.
That's
it was
right.
A
You
band
had horns
arrangement.
behind you.
Arif Mardin, who did things like, or with Bette Midler, like Wind Beneath My Wings, which was top song. He had a great touch and sweetness to whatever, we'd worked together heavily.
Brilliant, man.
Yeah.
We're going to take a short intermission. We'll take a breather, and we'll come right back.
Amen.
Yippee.